everybody, Sharice Williams here, tarot reader, witch, and paranormal investigator, and today I want to talk to you about the Ouija board. So it is October right now, and the Ouija board is a very popular topic. Everybody's looking for something spooky to do around this time of year, and the Ouija board is pretty darn iconic. But there's so much surrounding the Ouija board. There's so much misconceptions, I think. There's so much fear and lore around it. So I kind of want to address that. So a Ouija board, just in case you don't know what it is, Ouija or Ouija is a name brand version of a talking board or a spirit board, which is a flat board. Sometimes they're made of wood, sometimes they're made of stone. Look them up because there's some beautiful spirit boards out there, talking boards. But it has the alphabet written on it, usually some numbers. The Ouija board has the like yes and no and goodbye written on it. And then it also has a little planchet with a clear window in it, and you put your hands on it, fingers. Everybody has different rules, it seems. Some people put, 3 fingers, some people only do 1 finger, 2, whatever. You and everybody you're with, whoever else is doing it, put however many fingers onto the planchet very lightly, and you ask questions. You're talking to spirits. You are, trying to connect to the other side. And ideally, you ask a question and then the planchet will start moving and spell out words. And that's pretty much the gist of it. So let's go into why I absolutely do not do the Ouija board. I know I like to try to never say never, but I don't see myself doing it anytime in the future. And that is because I personally, in my younger years, when I didn't really know what I was doing in regards to spirits and the spiritual realm and energy and entities, I had no clue what I was doing. I was young and dumb and, watched the movie The Craft and thought that I was like a high witch of them all. Spirit whisperer, whatever. So because of that, which we'll go into that in a minute of why like mindset and kind of knowing what you're doing, I think is important. But because of that, I've had throughout my life, different periods of my life when I've tried the Ouija board, I've had not good experiences about it. I can maybe, if you guys are interested, let me know in the comments if you want to hear these stories. But I had not good experiences involving them. And so because of that, paired with Hollywood version of the Ouija board, I have a very deep-rooted fear. I don't want to necessarily say fear, but weariness for sure, uncertainty, discomfort with the Ouija board. And it is for that reason alone that I personally don't do the Ouija board. Because here's the thing, the Ouija board, pendulums, tarot cards, scrying, even EVP sessions, these are all forms, well, they can be, tarot and pendulum you can use for multiple things, but these are all things that can be used to reach the other side, to try to communicate with spirits and entities. And when we're reaching out to the other side, we can't really see over there. We can't, some of us can sense the other side and entities better than others. Sometimes we can see or hear these beings, but really, when we're reaching out to connect to a spirit, a ghost, an entity, we don't necessarily know 100% certainty who we're speaking with. And so the Ouija board's no different than doing an EVP session, I don't think, and saying, is the spirit of whoever here, can you tell me your name? Can you tell me how old you are? Did you die here? Did you grow up in this place? How is doing an EVP session asking those questions really any different than putting your hands on a planchet and asking those questions? Some people will say there's a lot of difference, but bare bones, you're reaching out to the other side, trying to connect with an entity. The tool, I don't think necessarily matters. But let's go back to the mindset, like I said. So if you're like, well, you do EVP sessions, you're a ghost hunter. I also am a tarot reader. I use the pendulum. I do all these other ways to connect to spirits and entities. So why won't I use the Ouija board? And it's because energy really, truly matters. Your mindset matters. Knowing what you're doing matters, because negative or darker or more mischievous energies and entities, they are attracted to fear and weariness and uncertainty like a moth to a flame. So if you are conducting a session to to connect to a spirit and you have this fear within you, yeah, you may connect to, you know, Sally who lives on that farm that you're trying to connect to in your EVP session or the spirit board session. But you could also be attracting some trickster spirit that just happened to be wandering around and is like, hey, perfect opportunity to mess with this person, because you're emitting that kind of fear energy. And that's why I don't do the Ouija board, because I know when I sit down to do that, even though I know this is a tool just like any other, I can use this just like I would pendulums or an EVP session or whatever, because I still have those memories and those feelings connected to the Ouija board from when I didn't know what I was doing, that still is there. And it's rooted enough that I know that even if I try to go into a Ouija board session with like an open mind, clear mind, protection up and everything, there's still that energy coming off of me, and I don't want to risk having something unwanted, you know, enter into my life. Now, when I'm doing an EVP session or dowsing rods or pendulum or anything, I don't have that same fear. I can enter into those sessions with a completely clear mind, with my protections up, my walls up, my aura strong, my boundaries set. And it's just such a different energy. When I pick up dowsing rods to try to connect to a spirit, it's a completely different energy for me than when I put my hands on a planchette. So I hope that makes sense. So if you are nervous or you're afraid of doing a Ouija board, then maybe don't do it. If you're nervous and afraid of doing a dowsing rod or pendulum session, then don't do it. Pretty much don't try to connect to the other side and connect to spirits if you have elements of fear. Now, I know sometimes when you are doing an EVP session or something, like ghost hunting can get a little, like, you get rattled. But I feel like that's different than when you're sitting down to specifically connect to an energy and entity. I also think that the Ouija board could potentially be dangerous because of the like universal mindset that so many have associated with this. It's almost like the more people that think that the Ouija board or talking boards are gateways to hell or doorways for demons, the more people have that mindset and that energy surrounding spirit boards, the more that's actually being fed to it. Regardless of even if you think that it's perfectly safe, there is still so much of that energy surrounding it. Now, I'm not saying Ouija boards are terrible. Like I love watching people do Ouija board sessions. I think they're great. Have at them. I have a hair hanging off of me. I just personally do not do them because of my fear that's there. So let me know. I would love to know if you do spirit board sessions or Ouija board sessions. I'd love to know your experiences. I think I'm going to do another video kind of maybe how do they work, and maybe I'll share my stories. So let me know if you guys want that. And the how do the spirit boards work as far as like, are you actually moving it? Is a spirit moving it? Are they like jumping into your body, moving your hands? Or is it just your own mind moving the board? So let me know if that's what you guys want to know about. And there you go. Just be safe at the end of the day. I can also do that in the next video as well, like some safe practices for spirit communication. All right, bye.